Broadcasting from the KMF Collective Studio, it's time for the Keep Moving Forward podcast. Join us every week as we dive into the stories of remarkable current and former athletes that have transitioned into the real world. Now here's your host, Katie Galley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 246th episode of the Keep Moving Forward podcast. I'm your host, Katie Galley. In the KMF Collective Studio with me today, I have President and COO of the Blanke Corporation and former professional basketball player, Kris Schwarz. How you doing, Kris?
Good. Hi, Katie. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thanks so much for stopping by and sharing your story with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I'm super excited, Kris, to learn more about you and your journey and just to get to know your background a little bit. Can you share with us where you grew up and how, if at all, was your childhood shaped by athletics?
Sure. So I'm born and raised in Germany. Mm-hmm. Early on, sports in general were a big topic for our family. Both my parents played basketball. They actually met through basketball. Like my dad was my mom's basketball coach.
Wow.
Even though he's 2 years younger than my mom, he's also was also a basketball referee in the German First League and also in Europe. So he participated in some like European tournaments and international tournaments and stuff like that. So basketball was kind of always around. So early on, we were always in the gym. We basically grew up there. We always had a basketball. We always had a hoop at home, and yeah, that's what early on started with sports. But being a kid in Germany, obviously, I started playing soccer because I think every kid in Germany at some point in their life has played soccer, and all my friends played soccer, so that's what I started out with.
Yeah, I mean, being shaped by, the kids you get to grow up with, but then too, seeing your parents playing basketball and having that be such a huge part in their lives. And so then incorporating it into your own life too. And so Kris, from that young age, then when you started with soccer and then eventually getting into basketball, did you play both sports at the same time? Or was it once, starting with soccer and once you took up basketball that it was just going all in with basketball?
It took a while actually. Basketball was always around because like I said, my parents both play basketball. My dad was super involved, and we always had basketball around at home. Mm-hmm. But we didn't play, or I didn't play organized basketball until I was 13 years old. Growing up, I played soccer. I tried some tennis. I tried some judo. But it took a while until I really got in contact with basketball as on an organizational level. So it was right about, I think sixth grade, seventh grade. I was actually in school between two classes, and I was outside just shooting some hoops with some friends. And an older kid came up to me and he was like, "Hey, do you want to be part of the school team?" And just to explain for your listeners, in Germany, school teams are not really a big deal. Here in the States, everything is set up through high school teams, varsity, JV, and then college teams. Mm-hmm. In Germany, the whole sports structure is basically made up by club teams. Schools have teams, but it's more like an after-school activity. You meet once a week, you just get a ball, run up and down, and everybody has fun, basically. So it's not really a big deal, but he asked me to come by and check it out. And through that, I actually played my first real basketball game with jerseys and a ref and rules and all that stuff against some other school that we played in a tournament.
Wow. That's really cool. And I mean, to learn the different dynamics of, club versus school, in Germany versus how it is in the States. And so, Kris, when you did play, start getting into with the school team, playing a little bit and starting to play real games, what was the trajectory? So was it you started to play with your school team and then eventually moved to a club team, and that's how you really got into the world of organized basketball?
Yes, kind of. So I had my first real game with a school against a different school team. Mm-hmm. And after the game, a guy approached me and started speaking English to me. And I was 12, 13 years old. I had English in school for about a year and a half. And he started talking, and I was not comfortable speaking English. I was just like, no, I don't know what you're saying. Leave me alone. But my dad was actually there to watch the game, and so I went back and saw my dad. He was like, "Who is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." He was speaking English, like, I don't know who that was. And so my dad went up to him, and they talked. And my dad came back and was like, "Do you know who that is?" I'm like, "I have no idea." He was like, "He's the coach of a club team for the city that like next to where we grew up, and he said that you're really talented and you should stop by and think about playing on a club team." And I guess for my dad, it was just he was probably super happy that finally his son is getting into the sport that he loves so much. But yeah, a couple of weeks later, I tried out basketball. My mom dropped me off at practice, and I basically never looked back. I dropped every other sport and became full committed to basketball.
Love it. You fell, just falling in love with that sport. And it's, it is really amazing too, that getting to share that with your family, that love and being able to follow that same path. And so, Kris, from that time, getting then involved with club and being then on that full path, full force to starting to play basketball, as that started to unfold, did you know as soon as you started playing that you wanted to see how far you could go with the sport, see if you could go pro, or was that something that unfolded at a later time?
That unfolded at a later time. You're a little kid. I was 13 years old. You start playing. Obviously, you fantasize. You're like, maybe I would play in the NBA or something like that. But it was more like I said, fantasizing. It's not really that I set myself up and said, all right, I'm going to work and that's going to be my goal. I realized early on that I have some talent for this sport. And obviously, if you're good at something, you enjoy it. So that's why I kept going. And I did put a lot of work and effort in it, and I was determined to get better. Mm-hmm. But that ultimate goal of being like, this is going to be my job at some point, never really came up in the early years. Like I was having fun. I was trying to get better and compete with kids on my age level. I played against older kids, and eventually went on to play in the States for a year as an exchange student.
Oh, wow.
That it just, it was more fun and hobby but still trying to get better. But the ultimate goal of being a professional was not really there early on.
I gotcha. And so then when did that, that opportunity present itself for you to go on and take your hand at the next level?
You mean on the professional level?
Yeah. When did that professional, the opportunity to go pro, when did that become a reality?
Actually, I finished high school in Germany. I came back from the States. I finished high school in Germany and then started playing on like a higher level in an adult league, but it was still not on a professional level. And since my exchange here in the States, I enjoyed so much, I was actually thinking about going to the States and going to college and trying to get a spot on a team there and play for a college team and get my education in the States. So my dad or my parents and I were talking and thinking about different options. And actually during the summertime, I got a call from one of my former coaches who then at that time was changed his position and was coach of a professional basketball team. And he was like, "Hey, what are you doing next year?" And I told him, like, I'm thinking about going to the States. I might want to go to college. And he was like, "Yeah, we're trying to put together a team that might be able to win the league. And we're really interested in you coming along and being part of the team." So it kind of came out of nowhere. And suddenly, like, it hit me that, like, there's actually a team that is a professional team that has interest in me. So that was a really, really cool situation. And he asked what my brother was doing, and I was like, "I don't know, playing basketball." He was like, "I'll bring him along." So we got a brother package deal. Basically, we drove down there, had a tryout, and they decided to give us a 2-year contract, and that was our first professional contract and first time playing professional basketball.
That's awesome. What is the age difference between you and your brother?
He's 2 years younger than I am.
Okay. That's really, that's kind of an amazing thing that you guys would get to go on and play together at that level.
Yeah, it was super helpful. Like,
yeah,
he's my younger brother. Growing up, I didn't realize how much I loved him and how important he was for me. Like as a kid, you get in fights and all that stuff. But
Right.
After after I got back from my exchange year, I really realized like how close we are and how important he is to me. And from the time when I came back from the States and when we signed the pro contract together, we played it on the same team, and he was basically always around. Like he was never like my little brother that he's annoying or whatever. Like all my friends knew, like, oh, if Kris is coming, Malta's coming too. And growing up together and improving and pushing each other, like you always have a partner you can play one-on-one against. You have always a partner that works out with you that kind of has the same drive and the same dedication. That was super helpful. And then also signing the first contract. I mean, we're leaving home. We're living on our own. Suddenly you're in charge of your expenses, and you have to make sure you eat right and you practice and do all your work you have to do, because suddenly it's not a hobby anymore.
Right.
Like there's pressure. Like the people expect you to perform. They expect you every single day to give your best, and they'll let you know if you don't. So, I mean, you read it in newspapers, you walk through the city and fans come up and they're like, what was going on? Why did you lose? Or why did you play bad? And it's different and it's tough, and you have to get used to that. But having him around definitely helped.
Yeah. That really is such a great thing. I mean, I can't imagine the difficulty of navigating a transition of you're uprooting yourself from leaving home and now having to do all these, I guess, adult-like things, moving on into this professional world as an athlete, but having someone that you grew up with there, someone that you can really rely on and work with together, in helping to navigate that, making that just a little bit easier in entering this new world.
Definitely. Like you have someone, if you had a bad game, like he would lift you up. He would have advice. Like if I was playing, I was different situation, wasn't playing well, he was like, hey, try this, try that. And it was always good. You have someone you can really trust, and he's on your side and he got your back, and that gives you a lot of confidence to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so, Kris, then signing that 2-year contract and being able to go play pro with your brother, did that career then, or at that time with that team, last just the 2 years? Were you looking to re-sign after that? What was happening, I guess, coming up on the end of that first 2-year contract?
So we got signed for a 2-year deal, and in Germany, again, I kind of have to explain that. In Germany, the league system, it's like a moving system. Like, for example, in the States, if you finish dead last in the NBA, next year you'll be in the NBA. Mm-hmm. In Germany, the different leagues, if you finish last or second to last, and sometimes even third to last, you drop down a league.
Oh, wow.
And same counts if you're in the second league and you win a league or you finish second, you move up. So there's within the leagues, there's always constant movement, and teams are obviously trying to move up to get more fans, get bigger sponsorships, get bigger attendance at the games, get TV time, and at the same time, teams, for example, in the first league that just moved up, are fighting to somehow stay in the league. So they try to win at least 5, 6, 7 games to not drop down, because then it means like sponsors are probably going to drop their endorsements and stuff like that. So there's always movement. And when we got signed for that team in Hagen, that's the city, mm-hmm. They were trying to put a team together that would be able to win the second league and move up to the first league, so the highest league in Germany. And we didn't finish first, but we finished second, so we moved up and celebrated. And then the following year, we played in the first league in Germany. And from first day on, it was we have to somehow win games. Like, it was a struggle going from the first season winning basically every game to second season basically losing every single game.
Wow.
And then after the second year, we stayed in the league, which was a great accomplishment. But I did get a little less playing time in the first league. So I decided to move on and switch to a different team again, back to the second league, just to get more playing time.
Gotcha.
For my personal development. It was probably the better step to do.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, looking forward, then wanting to, I guess, if you want to see how long you could stay in this pro league, then wanting to actually get playing time. So setting yourself up for that kind of success.
Yeah, I mean, I was still young. I
Yeah.
played point guard position, and it's a position where you have to have a lot of experience and control, and everybody is looking at you to run the show, and to do that on the highest level at a very early age is tough.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there yet, so I decided for long-term development and a long-term career, it would be the better step to step a league down, get more playing time, and develop that kind of experience and attitude, and being able to lead a team, even being relatively young,
Mm-hmm.
and then see where it's going to take me in the long run.
Yeah. And I mean, that does make a whole lot of sense. Like you said, that long-term development focus, making sure you're setting yourself up for, to be that, the best point guard you can, being so young, wanting to garner that experience. And so Kris, from there, deciding to step down, and get some more playing time, get that experience. After that time there, did you then move back up to that first league, or what happened next?
Actually, I did. I played another year with a different team. I had some injuries with my shoulder that I was struggling with, and I had some personal changes coming up in my life, and I basically decided to move to the States a year later, and was kind of had to make a decision for, do I want to play one more year on that level, or what do I do for basically my last year, and setting everything up to be able to go to the States. And the team that I played for before, they called me in the summertime. They said they were interested. They would love to sign me back, but due to my injuries, they're not really sure, like if my shoulder's holding up and this and that. And they eventually decided not to sign me back. And
Wow.
I was a little devastated, because I was like, oh, I like the team. I like the people around it. So I was faced with a decision, like, I have one more year left. Do I try to go through the whole process of a tryout, talk to my agent, and find a team on that level again, and then kind of prove myself just for one more year? Or do I go a different route, kind of enjoy my last year, have fun, and prepare everything that's going to come in the future? And I decided that I would rather have some fun my last year, and don't put too much pressure on myself, and kind of focus on what is going to come in the future, because I decided to, like, this is going to be it. Like, basketball is going to be over for me, at least on that level. So I called my former team captain, that he was my team captain for the first pro contract, and him and his wife and his kids, they were kind of like our family away from home. Mm-hmm. Like, he took us in, like, they were taking care of us and helping us out, and he was just a tremendous person. And he ended his career after we moved up, and transitioned into coaching. And I knew that he was coaching a team with a great philosophy, like with a lot of young kids, and trying to develop them into better players. So I called him up, and I was like, hey, kind of explained the situation that I was in. I was like, hey, do you still have a spot on the team? And he's like, the roster is completed, but let me see what we can do. And they somehow managed to figure it out, and I signed with them, basically thinking I'm just going to stay for 1 year. And unfortunately, or fortunately, like, I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
The situation on the personal side changed, and I ended up staying with that team for 9 seasons.
Wow.
So yeah, and we moved up a league, and we've developed some great young players over the years that play on the highest level now. And I went from being the young kid trying to be a better point guard and learn from all these experienced players, to when I signed on that team, suddenly I was, I think, 24, and I was the oldest kid on the team. And suddenly everybody was looking up to me, and I played on a higher level before. So suddenly I went from being the rookie and learning to, I have to guide these kids and transition, like, my knowledge from what I've learned to them. And it was so much fun. And I enjoyed it so much, to work with Matthias, the coach, and the young kids, and see them develop over the years, and being able to have them learn from what I've been through as a professional player. And yeah, that's been like 9 great seasons. And last year in November, I I retired. I got my jersey retired, and that was it.
Wow. That's really amazing. I mean, I think it's a huge testament to the mindset with which you approach things. So you thought, okay, this is going to be my last season. I'm going to go in there and my goal is to maybe help guide these young athletes coming through. But then having it turn into 9 seasons of you being able to do that and knowing that no matter what comes, I'm just going to give it my all, give back to this program that gave me so much, help these young athletes navigate this new piece of their life like you had to do when you were first getting into the league. So I really like that. It's really focusing on the mindset on how you approach, a different transition that's coming up in your own life.
Yeah, I think I found something that I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed even more than trying to compete on the highest level. Just like you said, is the team, the management, and especially Matthias, the coach, they were there for me in like a difficult time of my life. They gave me the opportunity to play in one more year, and they guided me through that tough year with them when on a personal level things changed. And I realized that I can give back a lot, and I can help these young kids and help them develop. And I think that's something that sparked something inside of me that I was so happy and fulfilled that I decided I want to continue to do that. And I had the chance to do that. I had the chance to focus on my college education as well. I was able to kind of transition into the, so to say, real world and a real job with them. So it was just an overall package that just fit and made me very happy. And that's why I stayed, I think, for such a long time.
I love that. Being able to, I guess, yourself be guided through all those number of transitions that happen in your life, and being provided that, like you said, because of the people within that organization that really helped you. And so, Kris, deciding to retire and coming in last year from basketball, did you know what you wanted to do next? Were you already set up to kind of move into that next phase of your life? What was kind of prompting that decision for you?
It started, early on, I knew that there would be a regular career or regular job after basketball. Mm-hmm. Basketball in Germany is not as well paid as soccer is, or like the NBA here. So usually, even after your career, you will have a regular job. So I knew that I had to set something else up. So I was going to college. I was getting my bachelor's degree in business with a focus on leadership and organization. And then later on, I decided to get my master's degree in business administration with a focus on marketing to kind of set myself up and make sure that I have something to go back to whenever basketball is going to be or going to come to an end. So, like I said before, the club that I played for, they were really nice, and it was easy to transition into a real job. So I started in the beginning, I was playing basketball and I was going to college. And then at some point I was switching to a part-time job and playing basketball. And eventually I decided that it's time to transition into a full-time job, and applied for different jobs. And the last 2 years of my career, I worked full-time and then played basketball. So I missed a couple of practices. I just went to like the evening practices, and had a full-time job because I knew at some point I need to look out for myself and see what's going to come next.
Right. And that's, of course, a very intelligent move to make, knowing, okay, if basketball isn't going to be the long-term profession, I mean, eventually, no matter what, it's going to come to an end. So how am I going to make that transition successfully? And so setting yourself up for that success. But even so, I mean, coming up on the decision to, this time you decided to retire, having already gotten your full-time job and working towards that, how difficult was it, Kris, when you did officially end your basketball career as a professional, and moving into just having your focus fully on your full-time job? How difficult was that transition for you? I mean, in missing basketball, no longer playing, in the night practices, playing on the weekends, how did you navigate that?
It hurts to this day, to be honest. I think I think you never stop being an athlete. Like if you've done it all your life and you've adapted like all these habits and the mindset, I think you never stop. So I do miss I do miss a lot of things. There's some things I don't miss, preseason running, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just to be around the team, like it's not even like the games or stuff like that. I mean, I miss that too, but being around the guys in the locker room and having like these close connections to those players and see them develop and grow as not only as players but also as people, and having like hopefully some kind of positive influence on them, not only on the basketball level, but also as a role model when it comes to like get your education done, like develop good habits, like be on time, and all these type of things that I try to live for them to see as a role model. That's something I really miss, but I think the transition went well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I watch the games when they play, and I still get the butterflies in the stomach right before the game starts, and I think it never really goes away.
Right. And you're right. I mean, it's something that if you've been an athlete, it's something that sticks with you your whole life. And it's not even necessarily, it's of course playing the actual game, but it's the people you got to meet and those who helped shape you into who you are today. And you're right. I think even in 20 years, you can watch a basketball game and then you're still going to get those butterflies. It's something that never really goes away, but it's because it was a huge part of your life for so long and helped shape you into who you are. And like you said, it's not so much just existing within the confines of basketball, but how you used all the skills that you learned from the people that you interacted with to help you into this next phase of your life with your other career.
Exactly. Like you said, the habits that you develop throughout the time, and the people you meet, and the relationships you build, and what you learn from other people, and learn about yourself too, is I think so vital. And you will, first of all, you'll never forget it, and I think it will help you throughout your years to come. Like I think my exchange here in the States shaped me as a person and helped me grow and be more independent and confident in myself, like that I can basically do anything if I can leave home at the age of 15 or 16, and I can live in the States for a year. Mm-hmm. And then moving into the professional life with my brother, and making a professional career work, and being able to apply for yourself and handle with the pressure that comes with that. And then the next step, like meeting all these awesome kids and see them develop and grow. And I see a lot of those things that I learned over the time that I can apply now in my professional career and my job that I have now, that hopefully will make me successful and be able to pass that on to my team and my coworkers and my employees in the future.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so, Kris, then, like you said, navigating that transition to where you are today. So can you walk us through then when you decided to retire from basketball and moving full time into the professional career you have? Can you talk about what is the Blanke Corporation and how you, of course, became the president and COO of it?
Yes. So Blanke Corporation is the subsidiary of a German company that is located in Iserlohn, which is the city that I played for and I lived the last couple of years. And it's a family-owned company. It's run by Peter Blanke. He's the third generation to do so. And he was the first one that offered me a full-time job in Germany after a lot of applications I sent out and a lot of denials. Eventually, he was the one that said, "Hey, yeah, I'll take a shot on you. I believe in you." And he gave me an opportunity to work in the marketing department at his company in Germany. So I did that for a little bit, and eventually he offered me to be in charge of the sales team, the in-house sales team that was taking care of the customers and supporting the sales reps. And that was going really well. And at some point we had our regular feedback review meeting, and he suddenly came up with the idea, or asked me if I could see myself moving to the States and being in charge of this company here. And yeah, I was a little overwhelmed. I didn't expect that at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it just, like, over the course of the last years, like, he has been putting a lot of like faith and trust in me as a person. I'm really, really thankful for that. And I hope I'm paying it back right now with doing a good job here. But yeah, he offered me that. I went home and I obviously talked to Natalie, my wife, about it, because that's a huge step to just basically give everything up and move to the States all by ourselves. But luckily she was all up to it. She was like, yeah, sure, that's a great opportunity, and why not? As long as we're together, I think we can do anything. Mm-hmm. So last year in December 1st, we left Germany and came to Atlanta, and now we're calling it our home.
Oh, I love that. Wow. It's been, I guess it was just a year anniversary then of you guys being in the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, talking about transitions, of course, navigating the one from playing basketball to no longer playing basketball. But this is, another huge transition of deciding it's not like you were just going to the States for a year or two for school. It's you're now coming and deciding, okay, we're going to live here for however long. So when you and Natalie made that decision, Kris, deciding, okay, we are going to move to the U.S. and we're going to, eventually, what you're saying today, calling it home. How did you initially handle that transition? I can't imagine uprooting your whole life, coming to a place where you don't know anybody. How did you guys handle that?
It was difficult. Looking back, everybody says like 2020 was not an easy year.
Yeah.
And for us, like I said, we moved December 1st, and the first month we lived in an Airbnb, trying to find or look for a place to stay permanently. And beginning of January, we moved into the house that we live in now. And it's just difficult in the beginning because there's so much you have to organize and take care of. And it felt like whenever you tried to accomplish or do something, you ran into some kind of obstacle and you had to overcome that. It's like, I don't know, we had to apply for a social security number. We had to get even like a cell phone plan. It was kind of difficult to do that without a credit history, like getting a car for Natalie, getting anything set up, electrical, gas, whatever it is. It was always like you tried something, they're like, oh, you need this. And that was really, really difficult. But wow. Eventually we got it all done. Then COVID hit. So it was not really, really great timing. But we were trying to get settled in and try to get in contact with people. So that's how we kind of started looking for a gym to work out in. We signed up for at a regular gym and thought we could maybe like meet some people through there. But to be honest, usually people go in, they put their headphones on, everybody works out, leaves, and you don't really get to meet people there. So we were thinking like, what do we do to kind of get in contact with people and kind of have a community or something? And I remembered that our strength trainer in Germany, he was into CrossFit, and he told us that it's a different approach and it's more like a community and maybe even closer to like a team that I've been used to with basketball. So Natalie and I started looking on Google, trying to find a gym, and that's how we found back then the owner before Clay started the One Fellowship Fitness. And we signed up there to try to get in contact and get some social contact and some people around us. And luckily Clay took over One Fellowship Fitness, and we were able to make some great connections already with a lot of members from the gym. So that's it helped us a lot getting settled in here and making this feel like home.
I love that. And of course, it's where I met both you and Natalie. I'm so thankful for that. And you're right. That's such an interesting approach to move to a place where you know nobody, but trying to develop community, trying to forge those relationships. how do you navigate that? How do you go about that? And so defaulting or thinking about something that has been true in your life for so long, fitness and working out and sports teams. So trying to find an environment that's similar to that so you can keep, find a community and find people, like-minded people who are going after life in that same way. So that's really cool that you thought about CrossFit, because that's true. I think CrossFit in and of itself as a sport, as a community, it really lends itself to that.
Exactly. It combined basically both aspects that we were looking for. We're both very active, and we like to work out, but also it's more of a community, and we get to meet people a little more on a personal level than you would do in a regular gym, or you might know your neighbors and stuff. And that's why we're super happy. And the people were Clay and the coaches. You obviously were super nice in the beginning and helping us out and supporting us. And especially when in August our daughter was born, Mila.
Yeah.
So now we had another challenge coming up. So right after moving to the States by ourselves and kind of getting settled in, now we have a little baby around that. Yeah, our first child that we have to somehow take care of. And it was just phenomenal how the gym, the coaches and the members were there to help us and support us. Like they set up a meal train. They were giving us advice. They were saying, like, if you ever need help, like, call us. They were dropping off like baby clothes, and you and Clay, you push Mila around every single workout. We're there. So we can't thank all these people enough, and we're so happy that we found this place and these great people to help us and support us and make this feel home and make us feel like we're part of a community and kind of like a family.
Well, Kris, of course, we are actually the lucky ones that we get you, Natalie, and Mila. I mean, your little family unit is just the best. And it really is amazing how the transitions, the navigations that you both have taken in the last year, in the last couple of years, but leading you to where you are today, right? I mean, just everything that you've come up against, but still having that mindset of, pushing forward, and the reliance on community, finding people to help guide you through is so important. I think it would be easy to try and, or not easy, but you default to, okay, I have to figure this out by myself, but being willing to accept help or accept guidance and seeking that out. But specifically just finding that correct, that unit of people that's going to help progress you forward.
Exactly. I think if you have a great family and with Natalie, like a great wife on your side that backs you up and supports you, and it helps so much. Like, we know, like you said, we've been through a lot lately.
Yeah.
We had some challenges, but I mean, we decided to have these challenges. I mean, we decided to go to the States. We decided to have a child. So it's nothing that came unforeseen or whatever, but just to know that I have her as to have a CrossFit reference, my battle buddy next to me, and know that she supports me, it's just so valuable. And going through all these things and making it happen and moving forward makes me so confident in the future and whatever is going to come, as long as we stick together and we stay together as a family and have great people and great family around us that support us, and we can ask for guidance and help. I think there's no limit to what's gonna come.
Love it. Absolutely. Well, Kris, I mean, I really like what you said. It's, you have these challenges, but deciding to lean into them and take them on full force, and knowing the importance of having Natalie, having your battle buddy with you to really go after those challenges, and knowing that you're never alone in those. Reflecting back, though, that everything that you personally have accomplished in your life through sport and beyond, and then too as a family unit, looking forward with everything that, of course, you're going to continue to accomplish. I just have one final question that I ask all of my interviewees. What do you want to be remembered for?
That's a good question. I think if I can look back and can say that I become like the best version of myself in any way, trying to be, I mean, that's what I try every day, basically. I try to be the best husband. I try to be the best father to our daughter. I try to be the best bigger brother. I try to be a good boss at work. I try to help other people, and I think if I become the best version of myself and have a positive influence on as many people as possible, may it be through sports or being a role model or whatever it is, but if I had that positive influence on other people, I think I can look back with a smile on my face and be happy.
Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. To learn more about our guest, check out the show notes at keepmovingforward.us. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter to stay up to date on all things coming out of the KMF Collective Studio. Always remember, you can beat the odds and go the distance if only you keep moving forward.